away and silent so you don't interrupt Taylor's talk. And then also, just if you think of any questions, he'll take a couple questions at the end. So feel free to think of some questions you can ask him. If you haven't been to a Red Talk before, these are modeled after the popular TED Talks. So Taylor's going to give an 8 to 15 minute talk in an area where he feels like he has some expertise, which is kind of interesting for this topic, but I think you'll like what you have to hear today. So without any further ado, please welcome PCHS Junior Taylor Oberle.
Dude, where are my note cards? Yeah, they're important. Hey everybody, sorry I'm late. I got stuck in traffic. Okay, you got me. I'm lying. For years you have been told that lying is never an acceptable response to any situation. However, I would argue the opposite. Lying is natural in people. Sometimes when we lie, it's because we're trying to protect our own ego, or maybe spare somebody else's feelings. In your head, I want you to think if any of these phrases sound familiar to you. No, that dress doesn't make you look fat. Sorry, boss, I can't make it in today because I'm sick. Or I can't hang out because I have plans. Or when you're eating someone else's cooking and you have to pretend that it's delicious. Sorry, Mom. Or how about, I only had one beer. Right, Dad? Or how about, it wasn't that expensive? Sometimes you don't even have to lie verbally. How many times have you been sitting there listening to someone talk about something you just couldn't care less about, and you're just nodding your head praying their last statement wasn't a question? We even lie to ourselves. How many times have you woken up in the morning and been like, I'll just sleep in for 5 more minutes? My point is, we all lie. Now that I've established you're all bad people, let me make my first point. Raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation in which you felt that lying would be a better response than telling the truth. So most of us, right? Can anybody guess how many times we'll tell a lie to a stranger within 10 minutes of meeting them? Milana. Pretty close. It's actually 3. Well, why? How did we get to this point? Why are we so comfortable lying to the point where it's almost natural? Humans, unlike the other animals in the animal kingdom, are extremely social. Early humans would figure out how to cooperate together towards a common goal, until they finally discovered the key to putting together the puzzle. Our progression in society and as people is all dependent on our day-to-day interactions. With that being said, you can see why lying and knowing when you're being lied to is an extremely important skill for us to have. Being able to lie is extremely important in order to keep a society running smoothly and keeping everyone happy. For early humans, this meant better social status, more food, better infrastructure, and a better overall quality of life. But you see, when everyone eventually developed the ability to lie, it came with some backlash. In a society where everyone just bold-faced lies all day, it causes some problems. So organized societies started to crack down on lying, making laws against it. And religious groups started to preach that God favored honesty and punishes liars. We even have laws today against lying. For example, you can get up to 5 years in jail for lying in a court of law, and you can get up to 1 year in prison for stolen valor. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's essentially claiming you're a war hero when you weren't. What I'm trying to say is, as we progress as a species, so did our ability to lie. We now know that the white lies we tell are for the most part harmless, and it's the big lies that cause some problems. So now that you know a little general history of lying, let me make it my general point. For years, lying has been a moral dilemma that we have struggled with. I would argue that white lies, in and of society itself, do more good than harm. I think that everyone in this room who is empathetic understands that sometimes little white lies can protect people from getting hurt unnecessarily. Barbara Greenberg, a clinical psychologist in Fairfield County, Connecticut, says, most people that I have come across tell these little white lies because they understand that honesty 100% of the time is not beneficial. Recent studies show that a baby at just 6 months old will develop the ability to lie and will fake cry to get the the attention of his mother. And by the time it becomes a teenager, it will lie in just about every sentence it says. And by the time it's an adult, it will be a master at lying and will lie 4 to 5 times a day on average, and will even develop the ability to lie to themselves. Dr. Julia Brewer, a licensed marriage and family therapist, defines a white lie as a well-intentioned untruth. That said, despite the fact we often feel uneasy about telling them. It's usually a small, deliberate, and harmless fib, often done to spare someone's feelings and to do no harm. Its intention is to produce a favorable result. I want you to think about the last time you told a white lie. Why did you lie? Were you trying to impress someone? Maybe you were trying to get out of a job. Maybe your goal was to manipulate someone into getting you what you want. When you told the lie, were you nervous or were you confident? Maybe you lied and didn't even realize. Well, odds are when you lied, it fell into one of these 3 major categories. The first being the tactical liar. Tactical liars take the time to reflect on the best practical outcome of their response. When telling a lie, they are collected and confident. Their goal is always aimed at the best possible outcome. They will often tell lies at the expense of others' feelings. Tactical liars often reassure themselves and others and are pleasant to be around. Next up is the lazy liar. Lazy liars will often tell partial truths or a shortened version or inaccurate version of a story to save time and stress. Lazy lies are generally harmless. A lazy liar will tell you that they grabbed the wrong report, which is a lot easier than saying they grabbed the report and on the way they tripped and fell and spilled coffee on their nice shirt, and then they had to go to the bathroom and clean the coffee off their shirt. Last up is the impressive liar. Don't let the name fool you. These types of lies are often easy to call out and are by far the most annoying on the list. These types of liars make up things or stretch the truth for the approval of others. They will often tell a story so many times they trick themselves into believing their own lie about what really happened. An impressive liar will tell you he got a black eye because he got in a fight and won, when in all reality he's just bad at baseball. Although we are all guilty of doing this sometimes, you can see how obviously irritating it is to always be hanging out with someone pretending they're someone they're not. So, why does this matter? As you can tell from my opening, some of us are better liars than others. And I don't want you to leave here thinking I'm a liar or a bad person, or even that I promote lying to do harm. Ultimately, I want you to understand that the little white lies we tell on a daily basis can be good and even necessary. Sometimes we have to prioritize another's feelings over truth. They're a part of what makes us human. From a young age, we are told by our parents, and from stories such as Pinocchio and The Boy Who Cried Wolf, that lying is never the solution. My mom used to tell me my tongue would fall out, which is really scary for an 8-year-old, by the way. So, next time you tell someone about the dangers of lying, think about also telling them how situationally, lying can be good and is a life skill. And that is my idea worth sharing. Thank you.
Great job, Taylor. So does anybody from the audience have a question you would like to ask him? Yes, Gage.
Gage.
Would you consider politicians lying all the time or lying?
Yes, would you consider politicians lying all the time just using white lies?
That's kind of a loaded question. Sometimes it's a white lie, sometimes it's more extreme. But sometimes they lie because you don't want to be telling people what's really happening because it'll cause a public panic or something like that.
Another question. Lily. What made him want to do a red talk about this?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really know what to do my red talk on, so I looked up speech ideas and I found one called The Importance of Honesty. And so I was like, I'll do the importance of lying. And that was how I landed on this.
All right, another question. Eddie.
What kind of liar are you?
What kind of liar are you? I think mom and dad can answer that better.
No. Probably the lazy liar from the second. I just tell a shortened version of the story because I can't be bothered to talk to people.
We will just say, and
in preparation for this, all the speech kids would admit, like his opening obviously was a lie. He was here, he wasn't in traffic, but he's so bad at lying that like he couldn't even act like he was lying. So that was really hard just for even for Taylor to, for just being honest. So, all right, maybe one more question. Anybody? All right, cool. Well, we appreciate you coming. Next Thursday we have Peyton Neeson.